This is the Kolo Tino fountain pen from Topdrawer. Topdrawer was kind enough to send one over for review. Kolo actually offers the Tino in two different types. They have a ballpoint pen and also a fountain pen. So this is the fountain pen, and each one of those comes in two colorways. So this one is aluminum body with a brass non-functioning piece here. And they also have the opposite colorway, which is a brass body with an aluminum piece at the end. Obviously with the fountain pen, it opens here with the cap to reveal the fountain pen nib, and it's just a pull cap, not a twist. The ballpoint pen option obviously does not have a cap, and this piece here is a functioning knock, and that's how the ballpoint tip extends. The size is comparable to like a Kaweco Sport. So here's a Kaweco Sport that I have. You can see they're pretty much identical. And then I happen to also have a Traveler's Company like pocket pen. I'm actually unsure of what this pen is called. This is their ballpoint pen. So you can see that it's slightly shorter, but pretty comparable. The weight of the Tino is about 21 grams. It feels good. It definitely has a weight to it. It feels substantial without being too heavy. So not surprisingly, the brass version of this is more than 3 times the weight at about 91 grams. I'm not sure if I would like a pen that heavy personally, despite me usually liking the brass color or the gold colors more than the silver. So I'm really happy that Topdrawer decided to send the silver one my way. I think it's a really nice weight to it. And when you open the Tino up, you see a full-sized Schmidt nib inside. The Tino only comes in one size nib, which is medium. The good news is that Schmidt is, pretty accessible, so you can pick up just the Schmidt nib, and it's a friction fit nib, and pretty easily swap that out if you wanted to change it out for a different size. So it has this Schmidt nib on it. And from writing with it for a few days, I am really happy with it. It's extremely smooth. I'll do a writing sample for you in just a few moments, and we'll take a look at, that line size. But I'm really happy with that so far. The ink filling system is cartridge or cartridge converter, and it is the same exact size as the Kaweco Sport. So the Kolo Tino fountain pen actually comes with a Kaweco black ink cartridge with the box. So that's what I have in here. It literally says Kaweco on the side. Any of those short cartridges are going to work here, including if you have a Kaweco cartridge converter, that's also going to work just great in here. So putting it back together here, let's take a look at the body of the pen itself. The pen is triangular shaped. You can see it nice with this cap here. It extends all the way through to the end as well. And so you're gonna have that sort of dedicated grip shape to it, as well as these kind of machined engraved lines here. Those are meant to be like your grip. I do find that to be pretty far from the nib, considering this section is pretty long in my opinion. So when I write with it, I do feel like it's a little awkward to be this, like if I hold it the way it wants me to hold it, I feel like it's a little awkwardly long. And so I'll talk more about that in just a minute. It posts fine. It's meant to post, and I think it works well posted. It becomes a nice, comfortable sized pen. The weight of that brass piece at the end, in my opinion, that is one of the top highlights of this pen, because the weight is resting right on my hand here, almost to the point where I could almost let go of this and it would kind of just like rest on top. It doesn't do that fully, but that's what it feels like. There's really almost no pressure here on my fingers, and all the weight is being balanced right here, which is really, really nice. And yeah, so it posts really great, looks really great. I love the look of it. To me, it's definitely giving like EDC vibe. It's a really great, sleek looking pen. So let me get some paper and I'll show you what I mean about the whole like grip part of it, because to me, that's really the part of the pen that I had the most to say about. So overall, over using it a couple of days, the writing experience is very pleasant, but it did take a little bit of time for me to adjust the way that would be comfortable for me. So anytime that you have a body style or a grip style that is very, very structured like this one, it is not going to be for everyone because it depends on the way that you grip your pen. I happen to have a decently traditional pen grip. I don't have like a perfect tripod, but I do rest a finger underneath, and I do have like that triangular, grip. I don't know what it's called. So it is pretty comfortable for me to hold the pen like this. I've got all my fingers just resting really comfortably. However, if I grip it where these lines are, kind of where that implied grip is, it feels very far from the writing surface and a little awkward. This is the Kolo Tino pen in medium. So to me, it feels a little bit awkward to hold it from this far back. So I am much more likely to hold it a little bit closer. Ideally, it would be kind of right on this section here, but that's a little too close for me. So my sweet spot is kind of in the middle, which unfortunately is right where the different body shapes are meeting, or where the section meets the barrel. So for me, it's a little uncomfortable to put my thumb here right between those two surfaces, but luckily my top finger still rests pretty nicely on this flat section here. So I wind up just holding it kind of like this, and it's okay. I do find it to be a little hard to get used to. But once I just kind of found my sweet spot, the writing experience is very nice, especially considering this nib. This nib is a very juicy medium, so a lot of good ink comes out onto the paper without it being too much. Let me kind of show you comparison with a different medium nib. I have my Kaweco medium here, and I'm just going to dip it because I don't have this filled up. So this is the Schmidt medium from the Kolo Tino, and here is the Kaweco medium. And you can see that it is definitely different in line width. Here is the Kaweco versus the Schmidt. Both mediums and both, like Western nibs. So something to think about. My personal choice of nib size tends to be fine or medium, or excuse me, fine or extra fine, especially with, Western nibs. For Japanese nibs, I tend to run like a fine, medium fine. So for this nib, I'd probably use this for more like headers or, emphasizing text or quick notes or something. The nib is beautiful and it's very smooth. I love the way that it glides across the paper. This is Tomoe River paper. I can also show you MD paper here. Here's MD paper. So this is the Kolo Tino fountain pen. Yeah, very nice. The very, very, very slightest feedback on that nib, but definitely smooth all around. And I do like that Schmidt nibs are accessible enough that you could easily buy, an extra fine or a fine and replace it and have it in this great pocket pen. So my overall thoughts are that this pen looks and feels great. The weight balance is, in my opinion, perfect. And again, I'm really happy that I got to try the aluminum pen and not the brass pen. I do feel like that one would be too heavy for me. It was surprising to me that there was this, full size nib in there, but I don't know a whole lot about the nib choices that companies make and, Schmidt versus Jovo. I don't really know a whole lot about that. Just from my own personal experience, so it did just surprise me that there was this full size nib there. But I don't mind that at all. And I love that it takes Kaweco cartridges and cartridge converters because I find that to be pretty accessible as well. The only thing to consider, in my opinion, is this grip. It really depends on how comfortable this is going to be for you and whether you like being this far from the writing surface or if you would have to scooch up like I did, and if you could kind of get used to that. This pen might not be for everyone, but it's a great pen for somebody who, you know, finds that it's comfortable for them. I think the look of it is extremely badass, for lack of a better word. It is so cool. And I think it's so durable that it could easily just kind of get thrown into a bag and it's going to hold up. My last thought is that I do wish that it had a pen clip. I know not everybody feels that way, but if I'm going to be throwing this into my bag or, attaching it to a planner or a journal on the go, I do wish I could kind of clip it to something, but I understand not everybody has that desire. I do love that it has this natural roll stop because of the shape. So those are my thoughts on the Kolo Tino fountain pen. I would love to know if you've tried this pen and what your thoughts are, and I'll see you on the next one.